What's up, everybody? So today I'm back with another one of these study tips videos, and this is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about some of my study methods that can be applied very well to other fields. So if you're a nursing student, if you're a med school student, if you're a STEM student, any of those types of things, you can use these techniques that I've used in the past and perform exceptionally well in your classes. So, what are some of these techniques? Well, the first of these is based upon a mathematical sequence called the Fibonacci sequence. And it's a study technique that I've used before, but I don't need to use it now quite so often because I don't really have to memorize things for my classes. So, what this is basically a study sequence or a study timing sequence, you could say, that is based upon the Fibonacci sequence in mathematics. So what you do is you take all your material. So for instance, I have a book right here. Say I'm memorizing some part of the book, and or I'm memorizing some part of the textbook. You're a nursing student, you're memorizing some chemical names, some drug names, etc., whatever. And you're going to study those things, do your studying, say it takes an hour or so, and you're going to set a timer for 1 hour. And once that timer's up, as soon as it's up, go through, study that stuff again. When you're done, set a timer for 2 hours. Boom, timer's up, study that stuff again. No distractions, obviously, grind it out, really do a quality job. Set a timer again for 4 hours. Study it all again. Set a timer for 8 hours, study it all again. Double at 16, double at 32. What this is going to do is it's going to give you lots and lots of exposure to the material, and it's going to constantly be refreshing in your mind. Surprisingly, this has been extremely successful for me when I've used it in a lot of my other classes. So for instance, I've had to use it for history, I've had to use it for a couple of my English classes, I've had to use it for a couple of my science classes in my undergrad, of course, and it was very helpful. So that's going to be my first tip here. Now, again, let's talk about some other method here, and that's going to be what is called the method of loci for memorization. And I'm not going to explain this in depth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link an episode to a podcast that I heard explaining this. But this is a memorization technique or a memorization method that you can use to memorize things in a much easier and much more fun manner. And I guarantee you it will stick. I've actually used this a few times. But again, this podcast that I link is going to really kind of flesh this out in more detail. So then, the last tip in this short video is going to be one of my favorites, and that's going to be just simply teaching. And so I make these videos, actually. I make these videos on After Virtue, for instance, which is one of my favorite philosophical texts. And in making these videos, I have to present the information to an audience in a clear and concise manner. Now, what I have to do in order to be able to do that is I have to read the material, I have to comprehend it, I have to summarize it, and I have to build on it with my own examples and integrate it into my own thinking. Again, doing this is going to really ingrain the information into your mind. So if you're a med student or you're a nursing student, grab a couple people that are struggling, grab a couple of your friends, grab a couple people in the class that aren't struggling, whoever it may be, and take the material that you're learning and attempt to teach it to them. Have a mock teaching session in the library on the whiteboards or in a classroom, whatever you want, could even be on FaceTime, and go through and say, look, today we're going to be studying the cardiovascular system. So let me break down all of these different parts, explain what they do, etc. Teach and act as if you were the professor themselves. So that's going to be really helpful. Now, as a bonus tip here, a little bonus thing, something I like to do, which isn't for everybody, is to look for the underlying causes of things. This just helps me to stay engaged. So if I was a med student or a nursing student, I would spend a little bit of time researching a little bit more as to the background of whatever I was doing. So if I was researching and trying to learn about some sort of drug for my class, I would look at the history behind it, look at some interesting facts behind it, look at what it exactly does, maybe look at any interesting side effects that it has. And this would just help me to kind of ingrain in my mind some interesting facts that I can recall during the exam, And I've actually used this before in a couple of my other classes, and it helped pretty well. So looking for those underlying causes, things that are interesting, keep your study enjoyable, and also just, again, have more fun and really, really try to ingrain it using some sort of different method. Ingrain that information using some sort of different method. But those are going to be my tips, so let's briefly recap them. So the first one was this Fibonacci sequence, which is basically studying for a set amount of time, or studying all your material and then having a set amount of time in between and doubling that in intervals. Then this method of loci, which is going to be linked in a podcast in the description below. And then my third tip was to teach and act like you're the professor. Again, that's going to help you really deliver the information in a clear and concise manner and make sure you have it integrated into your own thinking. And then the bonus tip here was to look for the causes of things. Look for those interesting facts that are going to help make your studying more fun and really, really help you draw connections in your thinking. So with that in mind, I hope you can integrate these, and I hope that they lead to higher test scores for you. If you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Tell me if these methods work for you. I'll be sure to engage with you in the comments below. Thanks.